bride was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank and we got upset. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Now the ground is white, so go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing the sleighing song. Just get a bobtail nag, 240 for his speed. Then hitch him to an open sleigh and crack, you'll take the lead. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. All righty. Can everybody hear me okay? Wonderful. That's what I like to hear. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Ackerman Family Vineyards December 4th virtual wine tasting experience, and also a very exciting moment for us as well, as we'll be launching our virtual culinary program today. So everyone hopefully has their duck breast pastrami, their selected cheeses, and also a beautiful bottle or glass of Ackerman wine along with them. And just a few instructions for the evening. If there's any questions throughout the presentation this evening, if everyone could please direct them to the private message section on your Zoom platform and direct them to the Ackerman host. That will be me. So if there's any questions that arrive, I'll be sure to filter them to Lauren Ackerman, Leo, our winemaker, who will be joining us, and of course, Chef Ron as well. So we'll definitely have a time for the Q&A section on there. And I want to let everyone know that I will have everyone's microphone muted, so that way we don't have any outside interference with any of the sound during Lauren, Leo, or Chef Ron's speech on there as well. And to be sure, during the performance, be sure in the top right corner of your Zoom viewing screen that it reads gallery view and not speaker view. So that way the focus of the speaker will be the large part of your screen for there. And without further ado, allow me to introduce our leading lady, Lauren Ackerman herself.
Hello, everyone. I am so thrilled to be back with everyone and want to welcome everyone as another part of our virtual experience. And I hope you are all doing well during these very, very interesting times. We are so thankful and grateful for all of the support that we've received this year, which of course has been the most unusual years that we've ever experienced for all of us. But we are so thankful for the support of all of our wine club members and friends of the wine club members and everyone else who's really helped us get through this year and supported us by buying wine and doing special events and things like that virtually as well. So I am very thankful for that, and I know my staff and my team is as well. And that's here we go. We keep on going and keep on moving forward even in these crazy times. But we're thrilled to be having you here with us today, thrilled to be back at it. Thrilled that 2020 is almost over, so that's all good as well. And I know there's several friends here today. I want to acknowledge, of course, let's see, we've got Phyllis and Jeff Scargill. Hi, guys. The Bakers, hello. Let me look here. Steve Hillier, nice to see you. Sonia, hello. Let's see, who else we've got? I know there's others coming on board. But thank you guys for being here. I know you have been supporting us all this year as well, and truly I'm grateful for that. And as you can see in my backdrop, we've got the house a little bit decorated, and even though we're not having a lot of people over right now, we still want to maintain the Christmas spirit and holiday spirit. So it's kind of fun to have it all back and looking beautiful in its 1888 glory. So I want to give you kind of an update of where things are this year, because it's been an interesting year. in spite of it all, we've been having a great time and having, fun creating these experiences, doing some live Facebook programming and a number of things. And that's what's been interesting to create and do. We have more to come. We're going to continue to do this on a regular basis. And so you'll be notified when that happens. And I would also suggest, if you have any ideas of key people that you might know, artists, performers, musicians, anyone in different areas, if you have an idea that we should consider doing a wine pairing with, love to hear that. I think that would be great, because we're creating that and going through our list and talking to interesting folks for the future to make that happen. And if you have some ideas, we're all ears to hear that. And we've been doing tasting culinary experiences, very small, very private, in the Victorian, in the tasting room, all mostly outdoors, and doing that, keeping that going. So that's been great. And it's different, but we've been enjoying ourselves and having a fun time with that. Unfortunately, as you are aware, Napa experienced some pretty horrific fires again this year. Fortunately, we were not personally affected. Our vineyard is fine. The Victorian downtown Napa is fine. But unfortunately, we did lose our harvest this year for 2020. But we're pivoting and looking at the fact that we have beautiful wines coming on board with 2019 wines. And that's one of the things that I'm excited about, because those are our winemaker, our wonderful winemaker, Leo, who's on this today with us. Those are his first wines that he is making for us from our Cabernet grapes. And I'm excited about that. And I think that, in doing some barrel sampling and tasting that we have, that we also be doing coming up, because we like to do that from time to time, I think you're going to be really impressed with what these wines are becoming and what they will be. And I'm super thrilled that Leo is heading this up for us, and his knowledge and experience is going to continue to make beautiful wines coming from our Coombsville vineyard. So even though 2020 was not the year that we had hoped for, at least we've got the 2018s coming on next year, and the 2019s will come on the year after that. And we will come up with something fun and creative for 2020. So don't despair on that. We're very creative that way. So Leo, do you know what we're talking about on the 2019s? Do you concur that there are going to be some beautiful wines? I think you need to unmute here.
Hold on one second. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me,
There
Lauren?
you are. Yes, now I can.
Okay. No, I agree with you. I think that 2019 is a great vintage. It was a vintage, especially in Coombsville, where we had this beautiful long hang time, and we were able to have the fruit ripen optimal in its perfect ripeness. So yeah, I agree. I think that the components that we tasted, you can taste a variety of different blocks in the vineyard. So a lot of variance within the vineyard. So we have a beautiful slope that kind of drapes down like a 30-degree angle on the slope. So we have the top of the Cabernet, the middle section, and the bottom. So 3 different Cabernets, all from the same vineyard, but all really showcasing its uniqueness. So this is something that we did for 2019, and I think we're gonna create something really, really special in that regards. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to taste those wines again with you and with the team, which we tasted a few weeks back, and excited about the lineup tonight. I have in my glass the 2007 Cabernet Sauvignon, which is lovely. It has some age to it. 13 years in bottle, so now it's showcasing really nice aromatics of dry fruits with plenty of red and black fruit components, with a little bit of vanilla in the glass. Also, just the round, rich mouthfeel that this wine has. It's in a great place, and it can age, for many more years to come as well. So no, that's the 07. Lauren, was as you mentioned earlier in the day, that it was 2007 was a vintage that critics considered the vintage of the decade, really. A lot of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It was one of my favorites. I remember when it came out and everyone was talking and raving about 2007 as such the perfect vintage. And since that time, we've had more perfect vintages. We've been blessed in Napa, but that at that point in time, since having the vineyard since 1994, that was considered one of the best years ever. And so it was perfect. And that's why it's fun to still be able to share that now, 13 years older, alongside the 2017 Cabernet Sauvignon. And I wanted to go back on one little thing, just one quick point on the 2019 vintage real quick, Leo. One of the things that's so unusual for us that everyone should know, previously to Leo coming involved with us, when we have a little area on the lower part of the vineyard called the Spice Box. And it's not a very big area, it's just under an acre, but it has the Cab Franc, the Merlot, the Malbec, and the Petit Verdot. And previously, when we would harvest that, we harvested all at the same time, and we all threw it in one big box all together and never separated it. Under Leo's direction, the 2019, that little area, all of those varietals were separated. And when we did our blending recently, we got to try them on their own, as their own, if you will. And that was pretty spectacular. And why that's important going forward with our wines, that allows us to do even better fine tuning, if you will, with the wines as we create them, especially the blends, because we can say, oh, here's that Merlot. It had a particularly good year. We're going to add a little more of that, a little less of the Petit Verdot, or a little more of the Malbec. We have more colors on our palette, so to speak, to be able to play with. And that's because of Leo coming on board and making that change. So here's to you on that, Leo, and I can't wait for those wines. But in the meantime, where we got the 2017 and the 2007, which are a great comparison side by side, what do you think the differences are between these two as they appear right now?
Yes, Lauren. Oh, thank you for that. I think the 2017 wines are excellent. We bottled them last year in August, and they're showcasing really nice. I mean, the purity of fruit. You have a vibrancy of blue fruit and black fruit, a little boysenberry, and just the tannin structure as well. It's very soft tannins, but approachable. But again, they have the tannin structure that can age like a 2007. So I could imagine the '07 when it was tasting in its youth, it was similar to the 2017, where you have firm tannins, but still very velvety, soft, rich, round tannins that you get in Coombsville. But again, that fresh acidity that goes excellent with food. So a food-friendly wine as well. But the 17 is just, I think it's singing right now. It's quite lovely. It's something that you smell, and then you want to keep continuously to smell in the glass. So it's very lovely.
And it will age well as well, I know, because that's something we've learned about our wines coming from this area, is that they've got this deeper kind of body to them and minerality, and the deep berries and the deep colors, and they do tend to age very, very well, which is why we like to showcase them 10 years apart like this. Really speaks to the fact that the vineyard produces pretty evenly, but obviously age and weather is always the factors that determine everything, and these two are really well paired, I think. And the 17 will definitely age well, I can't wait to try it in another 10 years, so that'll be fun. So
Absolutely. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And I hope everyone else is enjoying something in their glass here. I can't see everyone at once, but I hope you are as well, and having fun with it. There you go. I see a few. So awesome. But anyway, yeah, I personally love the 17. It's turned out to be very nice, and I think it's going to get better with age and time, and excited to see what it'll be. So cheers to that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Lauren and Leo. It's really great to hear your perspective on the 2017 as well as the '07. I mean, both wines are tasting absolutely spectacularly, and it's really phenomenal what's in this glass here as well. And once we get to the point as well, we're getting to that point where it's at the main event, if you will. So we're really excited to introduce a new partnering chef with the Ackerman family here. He's been a wonderful addition thus far. And for everyone, they should have their duck breast pastrami and then also the cheeses that we sent to you as well. So without further ado, I want to welcome none other than Chef Ron Osborne.
Yay!
Hi, everybody.
Ron.
How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Really happy to have you here this evening.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely. So Chef Ron, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just kind of a little brief introduction of who you are and how long you've been with Ackerman for?
Sure. So I'm originally from Colorado Springs, Colorado, but I was a Navy brat growing up, so we moved all over the place. I kind of consider myself a Colorado kid, but I'm as equally California as I am Colorado. I've lived a lot of my life in California, so I'm really kind of a laid back, comfort food driven chef. So my my styles are a lot of barbecue. I've spent some time working locally here in a couple of very high profile Italian restaurants, and have had opportunity to gain some pretty good experience there. So I'm a comfort food, barbecue, and a Mediterranean Italian style chef, I guess, would be my style.
Oh, absolutely. And especially in this day and age, we definitely need a little bit of that comfort food. None other than the Italian cooking, and barbecue, I got to say, is one of my favorites and is all very compatible with Cabernet as well. So it's really spectacular for having you joining us this evening and just hearing about your background. But Chef, if you don't mind telling us, where did you receive your culinary training?
I'm a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America. Graduated from the Greystone campus up in St. Helena. And what a great time and a great experience. So gave me an opportunity to take my previous and prior restaurant experience going back into the early 80s, I'm afraid to say, tipping my age when I got out of high school. But found my way through a whole series of career changes back into the cooking world, and decided to go through and get the formal training that I've never had. And I've got to say, coming back up here to Napa and getting to play with the product that we have and some of the folks I had a chance to work with and for has been just fantastic. And I'm excited to be working with Ackerman. So.
Yeah, we're very excited for you to be working with us as well. I mean, it really is spectacular to have you on board. And, I don't know if anyone's tasted the duck pastrami ahead of time, but we've been sampling it, if you will. That's kind of a modest term to use in that regard, but it's absolutely delicious. But before we go into a little more of that, what exactly inspired you to become a chef?
I kind of grew up with both grandmothers and both parents being excellent cooks. And, every little boy, when they grow up, they kind of want to follow and see what their dad's doing. And my dad was, like I said, career Navy. And while he was gone an awful lot as I was growing up, there was a thing called the Vietnam War going on. When he was home, we started cooking together. And I guess I was always in the kitchen with my grandparents. In fact, I have a vivid memory of walking into my parents' house now, which my mom's parents built when they moved from Wisconsin to Colorado. And there are times I can walk into that house and I smell bacon cooking, and nobody cooked bacon in that house forever, but it's a childhood memory. And, so those little things go in. But my dad, family loved prime rib. So my dad taught me how to cook prime rib and how to barbecue by the time I was 9 years old. And I remember him coming back from a cruise when I was probably 11 or 12. And he said, all right, and it was for Easter. And I cooked a prime rib. And he asked me to cook prime rib for him. Ever since then, I cooked prime rib. So for the rest of the family, he's like, you've got it. You're better than I am. So, kind of a nice little boost when your dad says you're a good cook. So that really held me, my love for food. Got me through college. I straight away went to some different stuff, different career path, came back to it, and it's what I do, it's what I love, and it's kind of who I am. So I'm happy to be back in the chef world.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's a great fit for being a part of the Ackerman team as well. We all really love what we do. We're very passionate about the wine and the food world. So, and as speaking to all of the attendees and members that are joining us today, it really is one family coming together on there. And Chef Ron is a fantastic addition. But one of the questions too is, what brought you to Napa exactly? Was it working at learning from the Culinary Institute? Was that what brought you to spring to Napa and stay here, or was it the wine and food atmosphere altogether?
Well, it was actually both. So going real quick, my wife and I moved up here. I got transferred for a job that I had. I used to work in the ambulance industry back when we got married in '91. I got transferred up to Sonoma County, and we were up here for about 5 years. And my career path took me around California with that job, and we loved it. We were up here 5 years. We absolutely loved it. And we always said, gosh, we really want to get back, really want to get back. Well, several years later, fast forward 15, 16 years later, and we had opportunity to come back and for me to go to culinary school and formalize the training that I'd had from practical experience and prior experience. And we were living in Southern California at the time, looked at some of the culinary schools down there. The last stop was Greystone. And we knew that was where we were going to end up. So moved back in 2010 and absolutely love it. Been immersed the last 10 years completely in the local food and wine scene. So love it.
Chef Ron, did you know I'm a fellow at the Culinary Institute?
I did know that, Laura.
Oh, okay. I love it there. It's an awesome place. So
it is incredible.
Yeah,
And
really is. What they do is just incredible. So it's that kind of background is amazing. So
it is. I had exposure to so many great events, and it was the time of my life going through school there, like
good
being
people.
a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, good people. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and Chef Ron, thank you for all the information you provided us there. So as I always like to say, like getting on to the main event here, we all have some really delicious items that we have included in our experience this evening. So I would say, why don't we start with the duck pastrami? Would you care to tell us how that's created and what the inspiration for all that was?
Sure. So, we have access to so many incredible ingredients up here in wine country. And one of our, as a chef, having the ability and the opportunity to work up here, I developed a relationship over the years with Liberty Duck out of Sonoma County, and it's totally local. It's super awesome, and they have great products. So what you have in front of you, those who bought the pastrami, is their duck breast. It's clean, fresh. It's a super product, reasonably priced. And in fact, you can go onto the website for those of you who may want to make this at home. And I'll be providing, back to the Ackerman folks, the whole recipe and the process for you to go through it. And I'll briefly give you an overview. But it's clean product. It's fresh. It's local. It's super clean. And the pastrami itself, the spice profile and the spices really play well, and they lend well to wine, and specifically the beautiful red wines that you have. So what we do is we'll take the duck breast, put it in a brine. So the brine has brown sugar, salt, coriander, fennel, star anise, among others, bay leaves, peppercorn. Heat that up, cool it down, let the duck breast swim in there for about 24 hours. So they go in there, drain the brine off. Oh, and I forgot to mention juniper berry as well in that brine. Rinse them off, pat them dry, and then hit them with a rub. So the rub, I don't know if you can tell here, is pretty coarse. So the key ingredients in there are salt, coriander, whole clove, juniper berry, again, star anise. And the whole spices are toasted in a dry pan, releases the oils, and then they're milled and till they're rough. So you don't want like big pieces that you're gonna chew on, but it breaks it down So it's a little bit above a powder, okay? And then put that on the duck breast, into the smoker. If you don't have a smoker, you can go into an oven. Won't pick up quite all the flavors, but it'll work. 250 until an internal temperature of 140 degrees, which is about an hour and a half, would be the timeline. Let it cool, and you're ready to go. So for those of you who have the duck breast, if you have it out, and if you haven't already sliced it, now would be a good time to slice it, okay? So you want to slice it thin, and unfortunately I don't have a duck breast here to show you, or I'd be slicing with you. It's delicious. The spice profile plays well and balances well with the wine, but does not take away from the wine. The whole objective is for the food to enhance the wine and not overpower the wine. And thankfully, having opportunity, like I said, the last 10 years to work up here in wine country, through trial and error and learning from people who are a heck of a lot smarter in the industry than I am, we're able to find that balance.
Yeah, fantastic. No, I mean, I have enjoying my duck pastrami here. As you can see, I've already diving into that a little bit, but it really complements the wine so well. I mean, especially like the juniper berry with that particular, the 2017 cab, you know, I always pick up little hints of like blueberry, and having that bundle, as I like to say, really complements nicely, and the saltier components really do elevate this. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal, Chef Ron, and very delicious. I'm actually going to enjoy this last.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, incredible job, and really complements the wine beautifully. And then also, along with the pastrami, we've also included 2 cheeses into the boxes that we sent out to everyone as well. Chef, do you care to tell us a little bit about the cheeses and how we chose those for the wine?
Certainly. So I'll start with one that is, well, both of these are Sonoma County cheeses. So the one here on my left is Vella Dry Jack, and this is a special aged dry jack. It's 12 to 24 months aged. It's similar in texture and in flavor. There are some crystals because of the aging to a Parmigiano Reggiano or a Pecorino or Grana Padano, but it has little crystals in it. So it's creamy. It's a little bit salty, but not overpowering. I like the texture that goes with it. So you've got that duck breast that is very, very tender and creamy. And this is creamy, but has a little texture with it. So a bite of the duck breast, a little bite of the cheese, and then a sip of the wine works out really, really nice. Nice, nutty, etc. On the other side is Estero Gold. So Estero Gold is from Valley Ford, out along the Sonoma coast. It is an Italian Swiss region cheese, a Montasio style. A little more creamy, but it is also aged and has some of those crystals in it as well. So both of these cheeses have the sweetness from the milk and the cream, the nutty flavor. They play well, the fat content in there, and the little bit of the crystalline texture plays well with that duck. So they just match really well. And then when you sip the wine, just kind of the fat and everything in the 2 components together, the wine kind of goes over the fat and helps to coat your mouth, and you should have much of a longer hang time with the 2, and it just really complements all of the Ackerman wines. But what it does to this 2017 cab, and I'm sure the 2007, I've tasted that one, would be fantastic as well.
Oh, yes, a perfect meritage all across the board. I mean, really wonderful for Chef Ron to put this all together for us, helping us with the pairings. I mean, really, the duck pastrami is absolutely incredible, as are the cheeses, but really just phenomenal in those ends as well. So we really can't thank you enough, Chef, for helping us elevate.
Oh, my pleasure.
Absolutely. I just wish I had some.
So I'm going to clean up my workspace here a little bit. Get ready for the next little segment here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to have a demonstration with the presentation, as I like to say as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move that wine over here. I'm not going to let it go too far away. All right. So now Joe, we want to talk about the rubs?
Yeah, absolutely. So Chef has prepared two special rubs that were also included into your virtual packages as well. So these rubs are our own Ackerman and our Coombsville rubs, and Chef will be demonstrating how to use them. We'll be doing two ribeye steaks this evening, but both rubs are absolutely incredible. So as far as as just for the learning purpose of it, how exactly do you make a rub, Chef Ron?
Well, to make a rub, you really kind of have to know what you're looking at and what the cooking style is. So if I was going to make a rub specifically for high heat, I don't want to add anything like brown sugar because it's going to burn, and it's going to discolor and just taint the meat. So what I went through here, I wanted something that was going to be kind of dual purpose. So nothing that had a lot of sugars in it, but had some good, bold, and complementary flavors. So in the Coombsville rub, which is the red rub here, kind of the surprising ingredient in there is sun-dried tomato. So tomato, you think of Italy, also parallels to California. We grow a lot of tomatoes around here. And it's really plays into the whole Mediterranean theme, and the background of culinary in the Napa Valley really plays a lot to the Mediterranean flavor profile. We've got oregano, rosemary, parsley, lemon juice powder is in here. But you want to have something that's going to be bold enough to stand up to the protein, but not overpower it and be complementary. So when you're putting together a spice blend, you want to know how you're going to cook, what you want to pair it with in the case of wine, and then just work on profiles from there, Jim.
Absolutely. So, and as far as the Ackerman rub, what are the components into the Ackerman rub you made there as well?
So the Ackerman rub, which is here, the big flakes, for those of you who have that at home that are in there, are actually freeze-dried or dried shallot. So the shallot, as compared to an onion, is going to be a lot more sweet. So as this is really a great, both of these are great roasting rubs, as well as can be used, as we're going to show tonight, on a high heat grill or a saute. But it goes really, really well. Think of almost like a French onion soup base, with the meat being, the vessel. So it has the shallot, rosemary, garlic. Hold on, look at my notes here. There's so many ingredients in there. Mustard seed, black pepper, but it's not, and salt. Both of these have salt, but they're not overly salty. So what I would encourage you to do, if you have these spices, is taste them by themselves, and you can adjust the salt accordingly. So salt is a really funny component to a rub. And a lot of commercial rubs that you buy, in my opinion, are way too salty. Salt is the cheapest component of a rub. I wouldn't want to pay for the weight of salt in a rub commercial. So you want to balance that. So it's okay if you taste it, think, it needs a little more salt. You can adjust it to your palate as well.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you for that, Chef. I mean, it's always great to hear like what goes into, creating the Ackerman and then the Coombsville rub and those sides as well. So I believe we're ready for a demonstration. So it looks like you have a full something for us. You'll present exactly.
We do. Stand by through the magic of television almost here. Pardon me, I'm going to grab we've had a pan heating off to the side. All right. A little bit of olive oil.
Olive oil, always key.
Okay. So I've got a steak, first steak coming in. This is a steak with the Coombsville rub. And here comes the Ackerman. Okay.
I can smell it from here.
Okay, so we're gonna let these go a little bit here.
Mm.
Okay, so one of the things when you're making, when you're cooking a steak, one of the things you see the chefs do, I just put olive oil. I'm gonna put a little butter in the pan here. Let that butter start to melt. Okay. I've got some rosemary. Right now, I'm just setting them on top of the steaks here. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Pardon me, I'm gonna step out of the frame. I realized I forgot something. And I'm gonna open a window. That's right, we're really cooking here.
Yeah, as I've come to learn that the smoke alarm is in fact not a timer for my.
All right, so now, kind of cool here. You can see the butter and the garlic, or the butter and the olive oil kind of combining here.
It's wonderful.
Okay, you want to let that go about 5 minutes. Okay, on each side, because we're here doing this demo and it's kind of boring to watch someone sit here and just cook this. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these steaks just real quick. Since that pan was hot, you can see I got some color on there already. So I'm gonna let those go just a little bit. And so the thing with these steaks, if you're cooking, you have cast iron skillet or a nice heavy stainless steel skillet like this. You don't want to keep that thing completely blazing hot the whole time. Once you put the protein in, if you have it on high, turn it down a little bit. You want to control that heat. Otherwise, quite honestly, you're going to burn the product that's in there. So by having the rosemary down here in the butter and the olive oil, and we're getting a little bit of the residual, you just come through and baste the steaks. So I'm going to let these steaks cook just a little bit more. And then Joe, you want to open up to some questions while I'm kind of working on this, and we'll come back to the finished product here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it looks like we do have a few questions from the audience here. We have a few from Jeff and Phyllis Scargill. Jeff and Phyllis, it's always great to have you join us as usual. And I'll make the first initial answer to this question from my own observations. And Lauren, you're absolutely welcome to add as well. So as far as Napa restaurants right now and how the progression and how they are managing in the downtown area amongst the rest of the valley as well, it's definitely been a year of pivoting for all of us. There's a lot of the outdoor, especially for restaurants, having the occupancy limitations in those ways, but there are many restaurants that are able to, utilize the outdoor space, making more of the open containment and also flowing airflow for those areas as well. So, we've all been hanging on the best that we can right there. We have seen a few restaurants unfortunately close after a certain time, but very, very minimal in those ways. But we're all making it work as far as the Napa communities go. And Lauren, do you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's when I think the word that I never thought I'd use as much as I have this year is pivot. And we're all pivoting quite a bit.
And we're not even playing basketball either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dribble is another word that comes to mind. But anyway, so yes, everyone's been doing that. And in Napa, thank goodness, the city has been very accommodating in a lot of ways and allowing certain restaurants in downtown to be able to be out on the street. They've cordoned off some streets and allow it. And it's actually created, especially earlier this year, a wonderful atmosphere because you have several restaurants next to each other on Main Street. Everybody's had their tables outside. It's sort of like being in Europe, actually, a little bit. So it's been kind of nice that way. We just are hoping that it will remain that way for a while. We don't know based on where we are in California at this point in time. Every state's going through its own lockdown problems again, so we're waiting to hear on more of that. But yeah, it's been good. And I think from winery's point of view as well, we've been doing the same thing. We've been doing a lot of things outside, making it fun, making it interesting, and everybody's been safe and good and all that. So we're optimistic that we will be able to continue. We just might have to bundle up a little bit more.
But hey, once you have enough wine too, you definitely get that extra layer of warmth in there as well, especially when it comes
Exactly.
to the Ackerman family and that vineyard. I mean, really a lot of love and a lot of the warmth in the bottle as well too, as I like to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
another question that we had as well, as far as like objectively measuring the wines from year to year to monitor the aging. Fortunately, in our line of work, it's also very educational, but also a lot of pleasure in there as well. We offer a wide range of really beautiful culinary experiences, and working with fantastic chefs such as Chef Ron, really allows us to expand into our wine pairings as well with very familiar dishes and very unique. So just through our culinary program and our professionalism, if you will, we really are able to taste every back vintage that we have. We do have wines going all the way back to 2004 officially and commercially for those times as well. So everything from 2004, 5, 6 to now the '07 of the 3 release and the 2008. So really watching the progression of those wines on a regular basis. I mean, they all taste spectacular, but yes, we are fortunate enough to be able to somewhat monitor that both educationally and for pleasure. And even going back a little bit farther to when Ackerman was in the Stonehaven, the precursor era, as I like to say, we have wines going all the way back to 1996 now at this point. So it's really phenomenal to watch the progression of the age and how much longer they'll age as well. And Lauren, is there anything you'd wanted to add on that as well?
Yeah, no, I think you said it well. I mean, the early wines, which actually started in '95, but were completely out. You think of those now
Yeah.
under the Stonehaven label. Those were what I call the experimental wines, where we really were just getting to know the vineyard. We were just getting started. We didn't have any expectations of what the wine would actually be. Coombsville, as you probably know, was not even well known at that point in time. Nobody actually knew about that area until later in 2011 when it became an AVA. So those early days were really truly interesting times, but the wines coming from that region were very interesting in and of themselves because they were completely different style than what you get up Valley and St. Helena, Calistoga, that area, because they were more, they're a little bit cooler area. So they created less alcohol, which with less sugar, less alcohol. And so the deeper minerality in those early wines. And we continue that with our first commercial vintage was the '03. And then all the way up to now, we haven't truly changed a lot of what we do farming wise, other than becoming organic. At the first certified organic farm in Coombsville in 2009. But what we are focusing on now, and which is why Leo is part of this, which is an important part of it, is really truly working on finessing the wines as we continue to improve and continue to explore. We've divided up this small vineyard. It's not a huge vineyard. It's 11 acres planted on 16 acres total. And we're dividing that up into blocks and regions so we start to get to really know our vineyard to the nth degree. So we can actually look forward to mixing and matching a little of this block with that block, and we create something different. Or we add this to that, and that spice box I talked about earlier. So it's been fun to see the transition of the wines and of the vineyard. And now with the winemaking, that's really the best 3 things that you can possibly do to continue to make great wine.
Oh, absolutely. And adding on to Lauren, when we tasted the 2019 barrel samples as a team, I mean, Leo has done an incredible job with the wines. I mean, they're only, I would say, probably about a year into barrel now at this point, right around maybe a year and a half or in that frame, but they're absolutely spectacular. I mean, we're really happy to have Leo on board, and you can really expect a lot of phenomenal taste and sensations for what the wines Leo is going to be bringing on for us as well. So we're very excited about that. And
Yes.
another question that we have as well is, as some of you may know, we do offer a really beautiful high tea experience. So we really offer, the Victorian setting with all the antique china, very colorful. And then one of our other partner aspiring chefs, Chef Jennifer Smith of Batter and Bliss, who used to be formerly from the French Laundry as a lead pastry chef, and also over at Bouchon Bakery. She makes all of our sweet and savory treats for that. And we're currently, as of now, yes, we are offering those. With the coming days, it's hard to say, but we're fortunately able to book teas more privately that way as well. If there's any official shutdowns and shelter in place for a time, unfortunately, we will have to cancel what we have already prepared on there. But currently, at the moment, we are still offering our teas unless there's any change in progression at any point in time.
Yes, yes. And hoping that will continue that way. And we are getting booked up for next year. I think everybody's optimistic that once we get through this time that we will see, I think there's going to be a pent-up demand for people to get out and travel and taste and wine and do everything. I know I am, right?
Oh,
we all are. Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yeah. So you were all looking forward to that. And I think that, and we're hoping that everyone will enjoy coming. And I think kind of, Leo, I was just thinking about it, when we have your wines come out, we need to have a big party that year when the wines are all out, and just have a major celebration and have everybody come, because I think that's something that we will really relish looking back on this year. And, one of the things I will say about not making a wine in 2020 that somebody told me, said, I'm not sure how many of us are going to want to open a bottle of 2020 in the future and reminisce about what a great year it's been. So in some ways, even though it's a bit of a hardship for a small producer, on the other hand, we love to pivot and do new things, and we'll find some ways to make some special things coming in the future, in addition to the Cabernets and the other wines that we currently have.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree too. And Leo, feel free if you want to add on to this as well. With Leo's wines coming on, I think we absolutely should have a wonderful celebration of that. But just also,
I lost you, Joe.
Yeah, also.
Joe, where'd you go?
Am I still here?
You're frozen. There you go. There you are.
There I am.
You're back.
Yeah, but as far as Leo, I think we absolutely should have a wonderful celebration. Once we get through this hurdle altogether as a wine. Also,
we lost him.
Oh, did we lose me?
Leo, you want to say anything else about the over the years? You've tried a lot of the wines.
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed with even the Stonehaven wines. The 1996, Lauren, was one of my favorite wines. When I first was introduced to you, but a few years back, you gave me a few bottles to try, and the 96 just resonated with me. It's just the beautiful tannins and the beautiful fruit profile. I was blown away by that 96 Stonehaven Cabernet, and I'm just so happy to work with that fruit and with the team. And it's a team effort. We all do everything together. So I'm very blessed and very excited to work with such a small, intimate team like that.
We're small but mighty.
Yes, indeed.
So wonderful.
Yeah, well, I think it's about time we head back to Chef Ron in the kitchen there. Looks like Chef Ron is preparing the steaks. He's chopping those up right there for us. So, Chef, what do we got going on over there?
I just kind of slice these guys up here. They've rested enough. So on my left here is the Coombsville rub. So as you can see, even just that there is a little bit of sugar in that sun-dried tomato. So we did get a little color from that, which isn't bad, and actually it gives it a little bit of a caramel sweetness on there. And then the Ackerman is here, and I apologize. These steaks were just a little bit thin, so I like to get these to about a medium rare. These are a little over, but still delicious. And I'm going to say meats that both of these rubs go on. The Coombsville, okay, this one is pretty universal. It's that one I would say is your general rub. It goes on anything. It'll go great on even on a pork butt if you want to do a pulled pork or a roast. Be excellent on lamb as well. The Ackerman rub, especially now since we're coming up on Christmas. and New Year's. So for anybody who is accustomed to doing any kind of a roast beef or a prime rib, this is perfect for that. What I would do if you're accustomed, like for a prime rib, if you're accustomed to studding the roast with a little bit of slivered garlic, you could do that. I'd rub it real quickly with a light covering of some olive oil, and then hit it with the rub. Let that rub sit on that meat, if you can, overnight. Okay. If you need to wrap it real good and put it in a cooler, you'll be happy you did. But overnight, it'll all the salt and the seasons will penetrate, and then just cook it as you would your regular prime rib, whether it be in the oven, on a grill, on a smoker. And I have to say, this rub is fantastic for beef, but it goes great on lamb. Lamb, kind of a chef's secret. You want to really kind of tame down if you're not a fan of lamb because it's a little too gamey. Take some yogurt. Either one of these spice blends would work, but I'd go with the Coombsville yogurt, the Coombsville rub. Put that on a lamb chop, a lamb leg. I'm kind of crazy. I do a lot of whole animal over a live fire, so we do the whole lamb that way. And then just roast it the way you normally would. The yogurt and the spice blend, but the yogurt acts on the lamb, pulls out a little bit of that funkiness that a lot of people don't like with lamb. My wife, who stated she'd never eat lamb, we found this technique, and she loves it. She loves lamb now. So both of these spices work really well in that fashion. So
wonderful. Well, I wish I was there to partake with you, Chef, because they look amazing.
Thank you.
And I hope you and your wife will have a lovely dinner with those tonight. So along with the wine.
That's not going to suck, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I wish we'll have to do these in person when we can. And I'm excited about trying that at home myself and doing these two rubs, especially. So for example, I'm planning on doing a prime rib for the Christmas. And so I imagine that the Ackerman rub would be great for that.
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
Any other thoughts on how best to cook a prime rib, since I've never actually done it? So I need to actually, I'd love just a point or two.
So for prime rib, there are a couple of, growing up, we used to follow the roasting time by pound grid in the Good Housekeeping cookbook.
Right.
But the more accurate way would be if you have a probe thermometer, you want to cook that to the center of the roast, okay? If you want rare to medium rare, 120 degrees internal temperature, pull it, tent your roast with a little bit of foil and let it rest for at least a half hour. You're going to gain at least 5 degrees in cooling because the temperature will go up before it comes down. Juices redistribute across that roast, and then you can carve it. So you're going to have a little more. You'll probably have medium well, possibly depends on the size of the roast, but medium to medium well on the end cuts, all the way down to rare, medium rare in your center. So, and I can certainly make myself available to answer any questions if anyone has any questions on prime rib. It's one of those things. Like I said, my dad taught me how to cook prime rib when I was a little guy. I make a pretty darn good prime rib, so I'm happy to take away any trepidation that any of your members may have with prime rib cooking questions. So
I'm not sure you want to be on speed dial on Christmas Eve, but yeah, maybe you do.
Well,
so.
email or text works. That's fine. Yeah. We're all one family here, so I'm happy to help out. I get those texts and calls all the time from friends and family. So
like, help, what do we do? Yeah,
it's all it's super simple. Once you do a good prime rib one time, it's super easy. Not intimidating at all.
Yeah, I'm excited. And of course, with the wines and everything else, we have to make this year a special year no matter what. So
absolutely.
Any other questions from anyone else? Now's your chance to ask a wonderful chef about any of your holiday cooking or wines or anything else, we can happy to answer any questions you might have, or just check in with how everyone's doing in this crazy time. So, Phyllis, what about you guys? You and Jeff?
Yeah, I wanted to, well, lots of questions. Ron, when you were
Yes.
down, did you happen to run into my son? He was teaching there for a while, Victor Scargill.
Oh yeah, I know Vic.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay, I do too. He's
So do I.
Great,
Yeah.
better person.
Yeah.
What was your how long were you there, and did you take classes from him, or did you teach him, or?
No, I actually I started as a student right at the same time he started as an instructor.
Mhm.
So yeah, all the way from one of the first classes, meat fabrication. He was teaching my sister class, who was the PM class, and we were the AM class. That was the first time I had a chance to meet him. And obviously, I was a lot older than the average student when I went through school. So we had a lot more to talk about than just culinary. So I got to know him on a personal level, more as kind of a closer to the same age colleague. But yeah, he's fantastic. I love the guy.
And an interesting story that I think some people have heard. So Chef Victor Scargill was the first chef when I came out commercially with the 03 Cabernet, who actually took it and served it with tuna fish when he was at Cindy Paulson's restaurant at Go Fish.
Yep.
To the board of Boeing Air, and gave them all that. And I thought, oh my God, a Cabernet and tuna, how could you do that? And he said it was a perfect combination because it wasn't a big alcohol, fruit forward kind of wine. It actually paired very well with a tuna steak. And he was the first chef to do that and to actually help us get our name out there. So that's why we have a long-standing friendship as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Ron, one quick thing. You mentioned a spice that I'm not familiar with, Serenise, I think you called it. What is that?
Yeah, Sardanese. It's kind of like the profile between fennel and cinnamon.
Oh, okay.
So it's very predominant in Mediterranean cooking, and then also crosses over into Asia.
And
So
can you buy that locally, or where do you buy it?
you should be able to get it. I think McCormick even puts some of the pods in there, and if you have access, you can order it from Whole Spice, who's one of our local spice purveyors. They have a website, and for anybody who's local, they have a shop in Oxbow. And but yeah, you'll find it. In fact, I just thought of something. The cheapest place to find it, if you know where in your grocery stores they have the little packages, and it's usually in the Latin section, the little packages of spices in the cellophane. You get everything from cinnamon sticks to bay leaves to cloves. If you just need a little bit for a couple of bucks, as opposed to spending $7 or $8 for a little jar that you may only use a little bit out of. But
Okay.
so yeah, very similar to cinnamon with a hint of licorice.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. And one last question for Lauren. Can we put in an order for 3 cases of the 2007?
Sure, I think so. Joe, can they do we have that many? Yeah, I think we
see what we have, and I'll be in touch about that.
Awesome. Thank you guys. You're so sweet. Thank you very much.
Also, we do have another question from Leslie and Adam Baker. Great to have you guys here. Really wonderful, who are actually making duck breasts this evening, so it's very
wow.
what we're doing today. So, Chef Ron, they're about to cook duck breasts. Any last-minute suggestions?
Have you cooked duck breasts before?
It looks like they have not.
Yeah.
No? Okay. So you want to start with a medium pan. Don't get it too hot. You want to put a little bit of oil in there, not too much. The fat side of your breast, if you can, score it, right? So run a knife, if you can see across the steak. So this is your duck breast. You run a knife just through the fat, not into the meat, going this way, and then the other way. So you're going to do a diagonal, almost like a diamond pattern.
Yep.
Season it up, whatever seasoning you're using. Start out fat side down.
Okay.
You want to let that, what you're doing is you're rendering the fat out and getting that skin crispy. Just let it go probably half hour or so. Okay, just keep moving it. If the look underneath, if it starts to get a little too dark, down. Okay, so let it go. You want that fat to render. Once you've got some fat in there, turn it over. Okay, and then let it go that same temperature for about 5 minutes. Get your oven going at about 400 degrees. In the oven for 5 minutes. Pull it out of the pan, let it rest for 10, 15 minutes. You should have nice, perfect, medium duck thereabouts. If you have a probe thermometer, let that probe thermometer go to about 140 degrees.
You make it sound so easy. I trust you.
You're going to have to tell us how it all works out, Leslie.
Yeah.
I would absolutely. Thank you.
You have to give us a report.
And also, we have a few other questions as well from the Hilliers. Great to see you. Thanks again for joining us this evening. So, Chef, what type of wood would you use to smoke the duck breast, or charcoal or electric? What's your preference?
So the wood that I like to use for duck is a little more of the fruit woods, apple, cherry, maybe mixed with a little bit of hickory. Nothing you don't want a real strong smoke, because duck is, even though it's a little gamey, it is a little delicate and you want to be able to taste the meat. I like to think of smoke as an ingredient. In a lot of places, when you go with smoke, it's too smoky. That's why sometimes you eat barbecue and you burp. Too much smoke, okay? Kind of a balance. So I'd go with more of the fruit woods. And if you're cooking over charcoal, and you're going to add wet chips to the charcoal, that works great. If you're using an electric smoker, same thing. You want to just use the wood chips, get those wet, and let those go. If you're using a gas grill, if you have a little smoker box, same thing. If you want to get some smoke onto that. If you don't have a smoker box in any of those scenarios, just make a little ring out of some foil. Put those wet chips in there, and you can put it right on top of your coals, and it'll perfume and smoke your meat, whether it's duck breast or anything else.
Awesome.
And if there's enough interest, we can even in the future do a whole little tutorial on cooking over, grilling, smoking, any of those things. So
That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chef. No, really appreciate the information on there. And there's also one final question that we do have from Mark and Sonia Abrams. Always great to have you as well. Mark and Sonia have been with us for quite some time during this virtual voyage, if you will. So always great to see you virtually and also in person when the time is correct. So as far as some of you may or may not know, we do actually produce a dessert wine or a port, if you will. It's called our Counterpoint, and it is a port made from Cabernet Sauvignon. We do about 3 years into the French barrels. We do actually add a little bit of brandy during the fermentation process to slow and allow that to become what it is we would call a port. And, we have currently the 2015 port that is available. And Mark and Sonia's question is if we'll continue in its development as well. The answer is yes, because we do have our 15 online. And then for the years to come, we will be releasing the 2017 as well as the 2018, but from the years to come there as well. And if you haven't tried our dessert wine or our port, it really is spectacular, especially, for me, sometimes ports, when they have a lot of that age behind them, can be heavier, a little more of that thicker side, where they pair very well with desserts. But our port, really, it's nice and young, so it's still a little bit of that bright side while still carrying a lot of that depth. Fantastic body, but great sensations and nuances, particularly cherries as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that port, as you all know too, is a wonderful thing to have this time of year, especially around the holidays. So if you haven't tried it, you might want to.
Still in?
I'm going to have to get a bottle or two myself. So
Yeah, we'll have to go to the source on that one for you, Lauren. We'll make something happen.
yes. Well, listen, Jeff, did you have another question?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Want some of that port.
Yeah, you
I
want
didn't
some
even
of
know
the
you
ports. Yeah. Yeah, we only made about 50 cases of it each year, so it's not a lot, but it's special to have. It's kind of a fun thing. Not many wineries have it, so it's just something kind of interesting. And actually got talked a lot about this year with a lot of other wineries who use potentially because of potential smoke taint. They're actually looking at incorporating that into making their ports or brandies using grapes that have that smoke taint, because it just adds to those flavors in that wine. We weren't that this year, but just kind of a curious thing, but it's fun to try, definitely fun to have. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, and absolutely. It's
Any
always
other-
great to have wine and
like a-
food together for the holidays. And you
Port
really-
at all?
Yeah.
One more question. We had one more question from the crowd.
No, I was just asking if it anything like a tawny port, would you
Yes.
say, or?
It's a little more body with the Cabernet grapes, but it's more the style, and it'll just get better with age as well. So we started this in 2015, and I think we're doing it every year, but just super small amounts. And my son, I think son and Mark were asking, my Alex, who is here home still finishing up college, was part of the design process and putting that wine together, and he was very excited about it. And it's a really cool bottle and really product to have, and Leo's helping us make that going forward as well. So very fun to have.
Great. We'll get, can we order it on your website, or what's the?
So
I think if you're going to order some cases, I think Joe can help you with that too. So.
yes, I can definitely assist you
Yeah.
quite easily.
Yes.
I've done it once or twice in my time. But to answer the question in general, the port is actually not listed on the website, as it is one of our house specials, if you will, in a very small production. So you will not find that on the website, but we can definitely get some to you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other questions? I think it looks like we're going to have some fabulous meals ahead with those rubs.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Chef Ron, I had a question for you. Those
Sure.
rubs, are they good on poultry as well?
Oh, absolutely. I would go more the Coombsville rub for
Okay.
poultry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic poultry. Great on salmon.
Oh, good.
Especially a little more fatty fish, salmon. We have access to sturgeon here, so sturgeon would be fantastic as well with
Good to
that.
know.
Or any good firm kind of a
Yeah.
fatty or firm fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Lauren,
I
I'm
love
glad
it.
you've been doing a lot of turkey thighs lately and using a different rub, but I'm sure that rub is going to be much better with that.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be fantastic on there. And if you wanted to get a little more of the great thing, this is a good base. So if you wanted to add, I like thyme. You want to add a little more thyme to it, you could add thyme to it. You could add sage or anything. So, but that would be fantastic on turkey thighs.
Great.
Wonderful. Great. All right. I think we're all inspired to cook.
Oh,
And
so
of course-
Friday night, let's get in the kitchen.
and drink some wine along with that, and just enjoy.
Absolutely.
Since we're all sheltering in place, we might as have fun with sheltering in place, right? So
Yep.
When is
so
some of these events going to happen? Let's have more of them.
that's right. And we plan on doing that, Jeff. And again, I say, if you have ideas or any thoughts on what you would like to see, let us know. We'd be open to that, because we want to continue doing this, and we have a lot of We've been doing them all across the country, both on Facebook and in this format as well in Zoom. And we've been, having fun with that over this time. So we're going to continue. I think that's one thing that, the pandemic will continue to, we will always be doing these things because it's kind of fun. And I will also say, one of the fun things too, is if you ever, any of you who want to do a personal wine tasting with me, we can set that up as well. It depends on, if people are buying some wine and they want to take that through with their friends or something along that. We've been doing those as well. So that's another opportunity just to do something private and personal if you'd like to. So that's all good. So great. So good to see everyone. I so appreciate again. Joe, anything else on our list here to cover?
I think we about covered it all right there. I'll second Lauren. It's really great to have everybody here. I think we all need a little bit of that holiday spirit as well as some great wine and food together during these times. Many more virtual experiences to come, and just really thankful to have everyone being a part of what we're creating. We really appreciate you all most of all of everything we're doing.
Well, thank you. And if
Thank you all. Yes.
Everybody with their friends next time, it'll be twice as big, and then it'll grow. So let's do that.
Exactly. We appreciate it very, very much. And happy holidays to everyone, wherever you may be, and stay safe, stay well, and drink lots of wine and eat great food. That goes without saying, right? And Leo, thank you for being here as well. And all of you, I just super appreciate it. And keep it going. Here we go. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care. Bye now. Bye-bye.